Susie.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you?
581. I'm okay. How are you?
Still in sunny Costa Rica, but not for much longer, I think.
Okay.
Mom's on the mend.
I love that. That's
Yes.
what I love to hear.
Yeah.
And then when you go home or wherever,
yeah, wherever
it is that you'll be
mark.
going.
I know. They keep telling me on forums to, like, put my residence, and I'm like...
What do you put down?
Fucking A. I don't know. I switch off between my last one and my
God.
brother's address.
Wow.
So, I don't know.
That's
Okay,
what they
but
say,
yeah.
you know, like even people that are unhoused, like it's hard to get a job because if you don't have an address,
Right.
you can't really fill out the application.
Right. And they're like, what's wrong with you, weirdo? Why don't you have a place to live?
Okay, so whenever you go home or wherever, then what will Sally do?
She is going to have well, at that time, her bones will be healed enough for her to be able to put weight on her feet.
Yeah.
And she is already getting more mobile. Like, she could put weight on one of her heels. And so we have this is so hilarious. We have a wheelie office chair, you know, an office chair with wheels. And thank God she has a tile floor. So I put her on that because we've upgraded from the wheelchair. So I lift her onto that. And then I roll her around the house wherever she needs to go. I do. And so she is now getting to the point where she can kind of like push herself on that with the wall, like along the wall and kind of with her heel. So she's just getting stronger and stronger to be able to wheel. And today she was able to move herself from Le Toilette to the wheelie chair for the first time. So big moves we're making over here.
Isn't that amazing?
Going to be running in no time. So by the time I leave, to answer the question, she should be mobile enough, but I have somebody who's going to come in and clean the house and do grocery shopping and make sure she has food and like the basic stuff and check on her and take out the trash and stuff like that.
And so even with all of what's happened, she is not tempted to move back to the Western world or the first world.
No way.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's where she wants to be.
Yeah.
That's
and
shocking.
I mean, I got to say, for places to get stuck when you're in a caregiver position.
I mean, I
the
see
view
that.
I got here ain't too bad.
I can see that. I would just think when you have an accident like she did, that you would emphasize like just being around your loved ones more than anything. Yeah. But she really does not enjoy the US of A. Probably because she was on the terrorist list for a while.
Probably. The US of A didn't love her so much either. So.
The feeling was mutual.
Yeah, the feeling was...
Right. It really puts
They're like,
sour
oh, yeah?
taste in
Well, we're
your mouth.
putting you on this list.
Right.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Okay,
that
well,
just got cleared up, by the way.
I know. What did they call that? Was it expunged?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I sat in many hours of lines for that one. Good Lord. Stateside. It's like
people think we're joking, but she was genuinely on the FBI terrorist
We're not kidding. We're not. And you know how much work I had to do to get her off that list? She's not sitting in the federal buildings in the good old US of A. I am. During COVID, I mean, come on.
No, the Bible says we all pay for the sins of our parents. And they meant that literally in your case.
Yeah, right? I was like, what is it? I've seen something on Twitter or on Instagram. What is it? Instagram or somewhere floating around that's like, oh my God, my back is so sore from like carrying the weight of being my parents' favorite child.
Right. It's a big burden.
God. The burden. But no, we're surviving. Surviving, not thriving over here, as they say. But, yeah, you know. We're watching a lot of TV and documentaries. No, it wasn't a mistake to watch this. It was wonderful that we watched it after Mom's surgery. But have you heard about the doctor that they call Dr. Death?
Sure.
Oh, my gosh.
You mean Kevorkian?
No, the other Dr. Death. This is a spine surgeon.
Okay.
Who's essentially a sociopathic narcissist with like most insane delusions of grandeur I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
Who's a real doctor in Texas who, through a bunch of like kind of loopholes, but not really, more just like cracks in the medical system, did not get the kind of training that he needed, and convinced everybody that he was amazing. And he ended up paralyzing multiple people, murdering multiple people, and was like one of the first doctors that was ever tried for.
And the impression is
does.
that this wasn't just negligence. He actually enjoyed harming people.
Oh yeah, I mean, and some of the things what he ended up getting going away for was elder abuse, because that was one of the they had to be really careful. The prosecutors had to be really careful in how. And like what they chose to prosecute him for, because it's so difficult. If you haven't seen that or listened to the podcast Dr. Death, or there's also now a TV show, a series on Hulu with who is it? Joshua Jackson and Alec Baldwin and Christian Slater. Oh my God! I just named 3 people from a TV show. It's like I'm like. That was like a rush.
She is firing on all cylinders. She got all celebrity names correct.
Oh,
this is incredible.
So it's a good day. Yes, so all of them are in it. It is so good, but it is terrifying. And one of the very last scene and the very last frame of the show says, "This will happen again."
Yeah.
Suze.
What?
It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
That doctors can just... And what I learned from that show, I mean, so many terrifying things, but you would assume I, as a therapist, have to do 3,000 hours of therapy and like therapy-related stuff, which I joyfully do, to get my license, to be able to like qualify to sit for the exams and everything.
Yes.
There is no actual number of hours that a spine surgeon needs to spend in surgery before he is granted basically access to your spine.
They just have to take a test.
They just have to do their residency and like make it through those years. But if they're not, there's nothing like or at least in Texas where this was happening, there's nothing to count the number of hours. Like I have a summary. Like I have to turn in this whole like
it's all documented.
All documented. A supervisor signs off on it. There's nothing like that. And this guy was on the side doing some like biomedical research with like stem cells, and people were more interested in funding him for that. And the doctors he was working with were like, "Oh no, go ahead, do that."
Oh right.
And total conflict of interest, total like quid pro quo stuff, and ended up. He had only sat in, I think it was on something like 300 surgeries or something like that, maybe less. He had. I want to get the numbers right. I believe it was 38 surgeries he did, and only 3 had no consequences.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask, is whether he decided the outcome based on, like, if he liked the person or...
Who knows? I don't know. We still don't really know. Okay,
so he wasn't obviously saying, like, this person I'm going to do a proper surgery, and this person I'm going to fuck them up.
No, it wasn't like... It almost looked like... And there were scenes from the show. The show was done so well. There were scenes in the show that hinted at him believing that he could come up with a different way of doing things. Like, he's going to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
And one of the scenes, he gets this woman pregnant, and he's building a crib for her. And they're putting the crib together. You know, it's a fucking IKEA crib, right? It's like they've got all the parts or whatever it's from. Like, they've got the parts, and it's like you got the instructions, and it's only a certain amount of parts. He's supposed to screw in a screw, and he goes, "Hand me the pliers." And she goes, "For a screw?" And he goes, yeah, it's called torque, blah, blah, blah. There's more than one. And it's a terrifying moment where it's like, oh, fuck, he thinks that he doesn't have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And you just see this, like, narcissist. Oh, it's so... Joshua Jackson does... I'm getting, like, chills thinking about it right now. It's so... And the scariest thing is knowing this is fucking real.
Well, so I have read books about women who've done this, like those nurses that intentionally kill patients. Like pretty much any serial killer woman besides like Aileen Vornos or whatever did it in this weird kind of like thing where they're in a nurturing role, but then they go dark. And it seems like it matches the model of, those people that are arsonists that also are firefighters.
Yeah.
Where, like, they want to do something bad so then they could be the hero.
Ooh.
But it doesn't sound like that was going on with this guy.
Oh, it's so terrifying. It felt like he did have this "I'm going to save you" thing, though.
Okay.
Like he told all of them, "I'm going to be the one." Susie, he was not getting not getting patients. Word was starting to go around that he wasn't good. His friend said, "You can operate on me." He fucking paralyzed his friend.
No.
His best friend, Susie. Whoa. Paralyzed him, quadriplegic.
And he did
one surgery.
Fine with it. He wasn't sorry.
He never visited him at one time afterwards.
What the fuck?
Isn't that fucking terrifying?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's people are fucked up.
And then I assume people started filing malpractice suits or what?
Yes. People started filing malpractice suits. And then what would happen is the hospital did not want to have any liability. And because he was still a resident, the hospital didn't want it to come back on them for any, you guys hired the wrong person kind of thing. So they suspended him. But in the state of Texas, I don't know if this is every state, but in the state of Texas, you do not have to report a suspension to the medical board if it's under 30 days. So he was suspended for 21 days. And because of that, you don't have to report it to the medical board. So if you went to go look up that doctor, any doctor, to be like, has this guy been suspended? It'd be like, nope, even if he was suspended 10 times for 21 days. Terrifying.
I'll tell you what's not terrifying, and that is when you get a wonderful box from KiwiCo that you can make the activities inside with your children or your loved ones. How cool is that?
Yes. Now, see, teaching them the right skills in STEM and science from a young age.
Right.
Curiosity and maybe a little empathy, too.
Yes. So these boxes are designed so that they match the age range of your children. And they even have little baby ones. So they have panda crates for helping babies.
Panda crates. It's just so cute.
Right. They support babies, rapid development in those first 2 years when they're just like sponges of information. Yes. And it's just novel, when you get something new and your kids are so into it and they don't even know they're learning. You know what I mean? So it's great for any age child that you have in your life. This is going to be such a nice gift. So your child will get a super cool hands-on science, art, or geography project delivered every month. It'll be like their favorite day of the month, I promise. They do all the hard work in figuring out what kids enjoy doing and what helps them learn, and then you can just have fun with them doing it. Redefine learning with play and get 50% off your first month plus free shipping on any crate line with code BRAINCANDY at kiwico.com. That's 50% off your first month at KIWICO.com. Promo code BRAINCANDY. Come on.
Yes. So way better than... oh, God, I'm just thinking
way better than Dr. Death.
Way better than Dr. Death. I think about nice little things like that, like adorable pandas. So, yeah, but I think this was because, my mom and I were talking about this all the time, and how the internet's listening to us all the time, even though they say they're not. Sure. I read another article in the New York Times about a British surgeon named, what's his name, Simon Bramhall. He got in trouble, which is like... the appropriate term for it because I do not feel like the punishment fit the crime, but maybe, I don't know, you tell me. He burned his initials into 3 of his patients' livers.
No.
Like fucking signature on
like
the organs.
branding, right?
Yes. He used an argon beam.
Mark his
which
territory.
Is like, yes. SB onto the livers.
Okay, and then how the hell did we find out?
Well, somebody went in to do a second operation and noticed it.
Stop it!
Follow-up operation.
Can you imagine if you were the doctor and you opened them up and that's what was sitting in there?
Oh, my God. Well, that's how they discovered it in this Dr. Death one, too. Another surgeon went in to do a repair job because the woman was like, I can't feel my legs. Something is like, this is worse.
Yeah.
They went in and the doctor was like, oh, my God. He had taken screws in and out. Like, oh, my God. Like, put a screw into a place. And when they were describing to the detective, like, maybe it was just like mistake. Maybe it was a mistake. He said, if you cut into a T-bone steak and you were to run into a piece of wood, wouldn't you know to stop? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, well, that's the difference between muscle and bone. And this guy was jamming it into like muscle and like, so you would know the difference.
That is so disturbing. And I find it totally fascinating when studying criminals, how frequently their undoing is because of things like that, their ego, where they want to leave their mark or mark their territory or, tease the cops or whatever it is. There's always some thing that they do just for their own gratification that ends up being the reason they get caught. And it's so stupid.
Yeah, it really is. And, like, so take a guess at what the punishment, what the sentencing was.
For the branding
for
guy.
this guy.
Well, okay, so this, as far as we know, was his only act of either negligence or criminal behavior. Like, otherwise the surgeries were fine.
Correct.
I would still think he should be, what's the word when you kick a doctor out of being a doctor?
Yeah. Like, have his, like, what do you call that?
Yeah, why don't we have a disbarred equivalent for doctors?
Right, what the fuck do you call that?
Well, at any rate, I feel like he should not be able to practice medicine.
Right.
I guess, I don't know.
Any other fines? Anything?
Oh, yeah, lots of money.
Oh, well, how about 10,000 pounds, because it's in England. And 120 hours of free surgery. Basically pro bono. You're letting this guy do more surgery.
That is insane.
As a punishment. Susie.
I'm speechless.
Susie, help me with that one.
What the hell is that judge thinking?
So apparently, because this was the sentence because he pled guilty. And so he accepted that what he did was, not just ethically wrong, but criminally wrong. It was, like, this highly unusual and complex case, they said. And it ended up being, it's something like assault. Yeah, it's assault punished with a fine and community service, basically.
I can't.
Mm-hmm. And but the other thing, maybe, is that the woman who he did it to came to his defense. And he said, even if he did put his initials on my transplanted liver, is it really that bad? I wouldn't have cared if he did it to me. The man saved my life.
That's the thing. He must be very charming, which a lot of sociopaths are.
Oh!
And he has these people thinking he's just like... I mean, that's what you would do if, like, you caught your kid skipping school. Not when they're branding people's internal organs.
Right. 120 hours of community service. I mean, I feel like we've given more out for, like, a fucking parking ticket.
Wow. Yeah, let's imagine if he were black.
Oh, Susie.
Right?
Susie. Oh, my God. I just am terrified. It's scary out there.
Sarah's scared of doctors now.
I know. I was like, I am so glad that I learned all of this, like, after my mom's surgery and all of, like, I can't. It's so weird. You know, my mom freaks out when she can't look at her x-rays. Like, they creep her out. But she doesn't mind cleaning the area on her foot where there's currently a metal rod coming out of it.
Oh, my God, coming out.
Susie, yes, it's one that's like just a placeholder essentially that we have to go in on Thursday or what the hell day, whatever day, Monday, and have it removed. I don't even know days anymore. And we have to have it removed. Like, it comes out. Oh, Stop!
I was telling Sarah when we weren't recording how I had read this article in the New York Times about disgust, the emotion of disgust, and how weirdly it's weird that humans are disgusted by a rotting corpse but not by a skeleton. And then we decided it's the mysterious wetness.
I'm picturing it. It is. Dude.
And, like, I think that's the issue with your mom's foot, right? Because there's got to be some sort of juice going on.
I'm having all the feelings.
I'm sorry.
All the feelings.
That was mean.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, it's so funny. It's so funny. But
I think you're not alone.
Crap.
I think that's a common
response. It's and then I just, like, and then it's just going to slide out? How does it come out?
Well, that is a good question.
Oh, God.
And then what do they do? Just sew it back up?
I don't fucking know. And why doesn't the blood just come shooting out of that hole? I don't know anything about the human body, clearly. Oh, God.
I don't think it would...
Are Valium over the counter in Costa Rica? Yeah. What do you need?
Sometimes information can lessen those responses, but I don't think in your case it would. Like, I don't think if you knew the mechanics of it that it would actually ease your distress.
The problem is that I know the mechanics of it. That is the problem. I can't get the visual images of, like, oh, God, and some people can just watch surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Are you one of those people?
I am not like you.
You can just watch a surgery. Could you watch somebody... Oh, Susie. Could you watch somebody get a knee replacement? Like, have their... Oh! I can't talk about it!
Well, I often thought about how, when I got my C-section, it was an emergency thing, and then they put the curtain up, and I really thought that I could handle it if they would let me watch. I really did. I wish that I could have, but they won't let you. Are you okay?
No, because what happens is I picture it and then I start crying for no reason.
Oh, God,
it's
don't cry.
It's an actual problem. Susie, I'm like tearing up. I don't know what's wrong with me. If somebody could explain why I do this.
Let's just talk about something else.
It gives me every single... I just feel like I'm like, that person's in so much pain. It's ridiculous.
I'll tell you what's not ridiculous, and that is staying organized and productive. There is a company called Notion that I love. It is like a central, customizable workspace that you can tailor to fit your team, or maybe you're just working on a collaboration with some people and you want to stay organized. You can just go there and manage your projects so everything happens quickly, efficiently, in a way that makes sense. And that's kind of like what we all need right now, because everyone's doing the hybrid situation or the work from home, and you may not even be around your coworkers or your employees, and this is such a great way to stay organized and on top of all the cool stuff you guys have going on. You can learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own, invite as many folks as you want to see how it works, and then you take the first step toward an organized, happy team today. Again, that's notion.so, notion.so.
What else do I have for you? I do have some... Oh, Susie.
Yes.
I was so excited during book club when your book was amazing and everybody loved it. The book you picked. Remind me of the name.
Oh, Hidden Valley Road.
Hidden Valley Road.
Yeah.
That was about a family with 12...
Schizophrenia, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, 12 children, 6 of which were diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful book club discussion, and I got an article, we were discussing an article in there that was on NPR, or this interview on NPR with a anthropologist, Tanya Lerman, who works at Stanford University, who did research on psychotic disorders. Mm-hmm. This is the most fascinating thing
I can't wait to hear. Tell me everything.
People with schizophrenia hear different voices, hear the voices differently, depending on their social and cultural environments.
Okay.
This is so mind-blowing. And it's not just one-offs. It's, you know how we have this idea in the United States, when we think of somebody who's paranoid schizophrenic, we think of those voices as being these dangerous voices. Oh, you want to hurt somebody. That's the general consensus of the voices often tell me to hurt people or tell me things that I don't like, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of the nature of the hallucinations in the United States. Well, in Ghana, the Africans hear an audible God who told them not to ignore those evil voices, but it gave them a sense of spiritual connection and calming.
They got they were heralded as special, these people,
And then I don't know how to pronounce it, Chennai.
Okay.
Which is I think it's in China, or no, maybe South Korea, I have to check. People hear annoying relatives who told them to do chores and clean up.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They said why. So the anthropologist said one of her theories is that Americans think of their minds as these private fortresses, and they have this model that when you hear an audible voice, it means that your mind is broken. And for for everyone, that's so upsetting. And so that's not the case in these other places. There's much more an invitation to think about the supernatural and to think about religious interpretation of these and them as a spirit. And it gives them much more of a sense of calm, and it doesn't feel like this violation of your private world like it does in America.
That is so fascinating.
Isn't it? Because it can impact our treatment of all of this.
So in Hidden Valley Road, I was really fascinated by the descriptions they provided of schizophrenic brains because I never really knew what the hell was going on with these people. I knew how it manifested and how scary it can be both for them and people around them. But one of the descriptions said how if you put these sensors on a typical brain and you do a loud noise, the first one, we all sort of jump and are startled or whatever. But then when the second one comes shortly after, we are less surprised. But schizophrenic brains are equally reactive to every single alert. And
whoa!
Right? And
Susie!
So they're getting all this information and they don't know what to prioritize and what's important. Isn't that fascinating?
Susie.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I know. And it's so understandable. You're okay. And that's why they love smoking, because whenever they smoke, that reaction doesn't happen. They get information in a more typical way.
Because it dulls those kind of...
Some way that the ingredients in the cigarette interact with whatever part of that brain that tells them what to prioritize. And so they kind of start feeling typical.
Oh, my freaking gosh.
So that's why
we don't know anything.
That's why they're working on medicines that will have the same effect as cigarettes and more long-lasting and less deadly.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because it really shows... we are in the dawn of this information about the brain era.
I'm still, though, but I can't believe that the culture and just your own personal experiences in life would have that effect that you described.
It's so promising because it really, there are implications for treatment. It says people can perceive these voices differently. And there was another researcher who worked with schizophrenics people who are schizophrenic to develop an avatar that represented their internal voice. Then the researcher would change the audio, manipulate the audio to make it say what the researcher wanted it to say. And by having a voice that the person recognizes and the visual of what that voice looks like, say things that are more friendly and more kind, changes the interaction that the person has with the voice.
Right.
So they can work with the person to make the voice less scary, to make it feel like a partner of something that's working with you, or maybe just telling you to clean your room.
This came up during the meeting, and I can't remember the context, but there was something about these things that was similar to what we learned in the book, How to Change Your Mind, which was about psychedelics. And how when people...
opening up your mind to a lot of options.
Yeah, and when they go into these microdosing situations with the information of what it might be like, and to know that if they see something scary, to just be fine with it. Just don't fight it.
Yes.
Don't run away. Don't be freaked out. And then it'll pass and you'll be fine. If we do that with these folks, it would have the same thing, maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And then, Susie, yes, and it just leads me into so many different conversations, because I was having a discussion with my brother the other day. Not the other day, it was like a couple weeks ago, whatever.
I love that you
back
feel
when
like
I was
you need to
stateside.
clarify that.
Right, you know what I mean. This is like one of those I can't lie thing. Like
right.
I'm like, that's not technically
okay,
what it was. I need to tell people. Don't even care. So he's a firefighter, and we were talking about how we do not need police rolling up. I was saying we do not need police. Like, wouldn't it be great if he didn't have to go on a lot of these calls that he's really not needed for? That we really need a trained mental health crisis response team that doesn't look threatening, that just, because it's now thinking about that jump, that startle thing, being startled.
Yeah.
Imagine if 4 police officers run up on you.
Yeah.
And you're startled with everything.
Right.
Of course you're gonna be
irrational, right?
You're gonna be irrational. And my brother was like, "Yeah, but what about the times when they're violent, or what about the cases when those are so few and far between?" And I think the only reason they go into those places is because they feel threatened. Right,
possibly. And there does need to be a variety of responses, and I do think we're making progress on that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I just feel like it would be so different. And then I hear all these, and he's like, well, what about the one time? I'm like, well, what about all the times that people who are mentally ill accidentally get shot? Because those are way more, I think. Right? God.
Yeah. I mean, I would think so. And if
I would think so.
If this type of thing, educating first responders and other, even educators, then they might never get to that point where the cops or whoever even needs to be called.
Yeah. Don't roll up in a uniform, It's interesting because, I asked my friend Dave once, who's also a firefighter, and I was watching a video or something of a fire, some kind of an emergency, and all the firefighters were so casual. And I was like, what is the deal with all you guys just walking up all casual to an emergency? And he goes, we do it that way so that all of you guys stay calm, because it's kind of like the airline, flight attendants freaking out. That's the last person you want to see freaking out on the airplane, because it's like, oh shit, something's going to happen. So you don't want to see the firefighters looking panicked and running up to anything, because it makes you terrified. And so they just mosey in all calm. If you guys understand that how you approach a scene for people who are not mentally ill needs to be taken into consideration. Let's maybe also take into consideration how you guys roll up to somebody who might experience the world in a different way. Man, it is so fat. We need some training. It's training. and education.
Yeah, and I am sympathetic. I would probably feel the same way if my job involved interacting with people that were irrational or violent or unappreciative. I mean, I'm sure you get real fed up real fast.
Yep.
But,
you're right. You're so right. And he is. And I hear his stories, and I'm like, yeah, I couldn't. Nope. I would have nope. I'd be so mad. Like, I'd be so mad. You know,
because what they're seeing is like the failures at a systemic level on a personal level. And so they just think this guy's an asshole and I need to, restrain him or whatever, instead of like knowing why that happened in the first place. And it's such a big problem.
Man. I'm just, having my mom experience an injury and like just having to go through a lot of the different parts of the medical system and just the experience of that, it's totally different, I am just seeing how broken the system is and how we just really, I don't know, man, it's really hard.
Well, and I think
my
everyone
heart goes
sees
out to anybody who's a caregiver. My heart goes out to anybody who's in a position where they are, struggling with any kind of mobility issues. It's freaking hard. Mm-hmm. Or even just support and resources. Everything is so difficult. It seems like the system is set up for you to go, oh, I give up.
Yeah.
Just, Mm-hmm. It just feels like that. And so, ugh.
That is fascinating, though. And I do hope they can make progress based on that new information, because that's totally fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. Yeah, that stuff, the stuff about the schizophrenic voices. I mean, if that isn't the coolest thing ever. Okay, what else fun things do I have to talk about with you? Did you hear about the Wheel of Fortune contestant?
Yes. Did you? I didn't watch the video, though.
Well, good thing I got it all queued up so that you can hear exactly how long this pause is. Okay, I'll tell you guys what the whole deal is.
Yeah.
On a recent episode of Wheel of Fortune, there was a contestant who was in the showcase. What do they call it? Showcase Showdown? Final
puzzle?
Whatever. If it should be called Showcase Showdown if it's not, because that sounds so much fun.
Price is right.
Okay. Too bad. I was like, somebody has that, right? That's like a thing. So it's the very last one, when you're like going to win a car and everything. And the blank letters, oh my God, I want to press play, but I don't want it to play. No, stop. Okay. It's blank H blank blank SING, the right blank blank RD.
Okay.
So I'm going to play, let's see if I can, I hope I can. I'm going to play how long the pause was. So she said the right.
She answered correctly, and I believe she did it before the buzzer.
Yes, answer correctly before the buzzer. But there's a rule in Wheel of Fortune that no one knew about.
No one knew.
That says you can't pause
in the middle of the sentence or the phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumbest rule ever.
So if, let's say, the answer was Merry Christmas, you couldn't say Merry Christmas.
Oh,
right? Is that essentially?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Listen to how long this is, how short this is, okay?
I'm going to be so mad.
You're going to be
so mad. This is why I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Here I am. I'm like, you have to watch it. You must listen.
Okay.
Here we go. Volume. Let's see. Volume up. See if you can hear it. Ready? Where's my play?
The right word.
This one's tough because you said all the right words, including the word, but as you know, it's got to be more or less continuous. We can't give you the prize, and it was the outing. Oh, man.
That was it.
It's ridiculous.
Done. I think I counted 3 hippopotamuses. That's stupid. And you lost a car?
Yeah. And then they were just like, sorry, but rules are rules.
Right. That's how Wheel of Fortune was. Wheel of Fortune were being like freaking jerks about it. And then all of Twitter was like, this is ridiculous. Audi, you better freaking step up. And so Audi gave her the car.
Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah.
Right?
In the end, she'll probably end up with more than she would have otherwise. And it's fun to be like a footnote in history. But that's a stupid rule.
It's a really stupid rule.
I wonder why.
Yeah, what do you think?
Ooh.
And also, what does she think choosing the right, the only thing I'm a little bit mad at her for is, it's obviously word. There's no other thing that goes there.
That's what you're mad at.
I mean, a little. If we have to, we can't like put all the blame on. We have to say she
it's
did
like we always talk about with the challenge when they do trivia and how it's just different when you're under the hot lights.
Oh my God, you're so right. There's
just so much more adrenaline and like stimuli. I get it. What's this lady's name?
What is her name? They should say because this Wheel of Fortune contestant, so far they've just identified her on CNN as contestant.
Oh, man, that's where she should really
she doesn't even get a name. Oh, Charlene... Well, you're going to laugh at this.
What?
You know what her last name is?
Oh, my God.
Well, I'll tell you... I'll give you a hint. Her answer was kind of garbage.
Oh, my God. Trash?
Charlene Rubbish.
No. This is great. I'm so glad I asked.
I love that never, ever fails to disappoint, or whatever the word is.
I love it every time.
Every single time. Oh, my God. Charlene Rubbish.
That's almost as good as Anthony Weiner.
Yeah. What's going on with that guy? No, for real.
Well, last I heard... And let's revisit
God, nobody
the fact.
said that name in like a million years.
Let's revisit the fact, because I'm sure you blocked it out, that I was the last person he retweeted before he got caught the second time.
Oh, my God.
And so then people thought I was the girl that he was, like, sending these nudes to or whatever the fuck.
Well, talk about being a footnote in history.
I know. I need to find that screenshot.
A footnote or, man, that was a better sexual double entendre that I could have used there.
But he disabled his Twitter right after that, and then he's been gone ever since. But supposedly he has a job.
I thought you were going to say supposedly he has a burner account. It's called this, and don't you know he follows me?
That was the last I heard, was that he is sort of back on one of the, I think it was Signal or one of the apps that people use to be secretive.
Like a dating thing?
Well, you know,
or
how
like
people,
more like your hook. Like what is the one that was? Yeah. Oh my God, that seems like a lot of work.
That's right. And come on, Anthony, it ain't worth it.
Come on, weenie.
Come on, the ween. And then his ex-wife Huma, she just published a book this year, and that's all.
Man, yeah, I've been kind of out of the loop of a lot of things in the news. R.I.P. Betty White.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Bob Saget.
R.I.P. Bob Saget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know what happened there?
I mean, I have a theory.
Info? I want to know your theory afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to say it on here?
Well,
I don't know.
It's not a secret. I mean, as soon as he died and they said there was no foul play or drugs, I said, I bet he had COVID recently. And he did.
No!
And they call it silent hypo... I forget the word. But, I mean, I'm not a coroner here. I'm just saying that's what I think happened.
Know. I fucking know.
And I think we'll be seeing a lot more of this as people recover, and then like months or whatever later, they drop dead and they're like, oh, it's a heart attack or whatever.
Yeah. My heart's been doing this weird kind of thing for probably the past month or two, and I don't know if it's it might be stress related, but I should probably get that checked out, because like, what if?
I mean, it probably is stress related, but
yeah, that's what like my mom was like. Yeah, I think you might be under a little bit of stress, and it's probably like, I'm like twitching, my eyes like.
Oh, God.
No,
They
I'm
do
kidding.
say
But-
that that's what happens. The eye twitch thing is from stress. That is what they say.
Yeah. No, I mean, that is true. And my
I
heart is doing
remember
that.
when I was 8 or 9 months pregnant, I went and sat out. I had tickets to see Bob Saget at the Improv in Pittsburgh, and I sat outside for 2 hours so that I could be first in line to get the front row.
Yeah.
And I sat up in the front row with my giant pregnant belly, and he was so funny, and he's so much of a better stand-up than you would even guess, because, you know, Full House didn't really showcase his range.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. Play
And
a
then
character.
you saw The Aristocrats, right? The documentary?
Oh, so good.
Yeah. And that's when people really started to realize, like, oh, he's not a one-trick pony. Like, he can be funny in a variety of ways.
Yeah, he was so good.
I know. I was very sad. I was very sad to hear that he passed.
Yeah. Well, it feels like we're getting to that age. I'm getting to that age where all these people, or maybe this is just life, I don't know, where people who are like these big figures
Yeah.
that you like watch or look up to, or some part of your like childhood,
Yeah.
are passing away. And that's like a totally, I don't know, new kind of, like I never got sad before. And I think ever since Prince died, Prince was the first person I like really, and Mr. Roger. Oh God, I can't even think about all the sad people. That's like a terrible path to go down. But I do want to read one thing that I read, or that I saw on Twitter or Instagram, one of those things, when Betty White passed away, that is so, I thought it was such a good reminder, and I wanted to read it to you. Let me pull it up. When did she pass away? Okay. Nope, that is about the surgeon who had the thing.
Dr. Zeth.
That's about that. Okay, pause. Give me a minute. It's under here. On my saved things. Saved. And here we go. Okie dokie. Okay. While many tributes are describing her as America's grandmother or great-grandmother, I think it's important to remember Betty White never had children. She's an amazing example of how much joy and meaning there is to be had in a life without children. We almost never see such women celebrated in society. I think White did allow a lot of people to have a better relationship with their grandmothers because in showing her body whole personhood, she helped others to see the older women in their lives consigned to grandmothers or mother roles as whole people with a sense of humor, sexual desire, and joy. It's a kind of queerness, I think. And that was written by Stephen Thrasher. And I thought it was just so well put because I did not even know that she didn't have kids.
Oh, yeah. She was a mom to a lot of dogs and animals.
Aww. And we all think of her as America's grandmother, and it does make you have better relations. I think that's so important, and I think, I don't know, I just keep thinking more and more about how it is totally okay for women to be like, yeah, I'm okay with not having kids. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, that's
And
for
now
sure.
I'm going to confidently, I think, maybe, change.
Confidently, maybe. That's funny.
Change my answer to on Bumble to like, do you want to have kids? To do not want to have kids.
No.
Yeah, why not?
No.
Because I feel
No,
like,
you can. That's totally fine. I just am surprised by that.
Yeah, me too.
You're
Because I feel like I almost want to answer with a joke. In this economy?
well, for sure. I mean, I get it. No doubt about
know?
that. I just so right now, what is it? You say yes, maybe, or
No.
but what is it on your account now?
Oh, now it says not sure or possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe,
Oh,
I think.
wow.
Or
You
whatever.
wanna change
Whatever
it.
the ambiguous answer is.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm thinking of making it, because, like, I don't want any bait and switch, like, you know, situations where they think, oh, yeah, I'm going to, like, and you know what? Ew, actually, maybe this is something we need to unpack now that I think about
yeah,
this.
let's do it.
You know what guys say to me all the time? you would be a great mother.
Right.
I
And you
don't know
like
how
that.
I feel about this anymore.
Okay, because why? You feel like it's a backhanded compliment?
I don't know, because it's rarely the ones who are like, no, I mean, like, it's kind of that, what is the Madonna whore thing of like, you're like, you know, it's like I fit, that's why on Marry, Sex, Kill, I'm always Mary, and like nobody's like wanting to bang me.
Well, on the upside, they also don't want to kill you, which is nice.
That's, you know, sometimes.
silver
it's
lining.
like, silver lining there. They don't want to murder you.
Okay, well, do you I know that it's been a bit of a process going from wanting them to maybe wanting them to maybe now you're saying not wanting them.
Yeah.
Would you say, though, that there was a moment when you were like, you know what, forget it?
Kind of in a caregiver role. Mm-hmm. Where I was like waking up, because like I have a routine now, and I have a routine that all I can think is like, so does every fucking mother. Like this like that you need to do this. I mean, I have one with my dog, but it's very minimal effort and work needed, you know?
Yeah.
But this is like, before you think, this is going to sound, every mom, get ready to roll your eyes, moms. You have to go, oh, let me think about all this other person's needs before I even consider my own. Mm-hmm. And then you find yourself doing things like making food, and then I'm not eating it, but I feel like I've checked the box of like dinner, and then I've made this other person food, and I'm like, oh, right, I have to eat too.
Okay, I get it, and you're right, but it is way harder to do what you're doing. Because it isn't really sacrificial for, I don't think, most moms in that regard, like making food and thinking of them first. It's just instinct, I think.
Oh, it ain't instinct over here.
And it wouldn't be for me if I were taking care of my mom. I'd be like,
Right.
you're an idiot. I hate you.
Yeah, and then it's
I
like I
don't
have to
hate her,
do
I
things
love her.
like, I had to go through this whole week where I had to be like, okay, Mom, here's a list of the things that I provide. Here are the things that you have. I don't know when you're hungry. I don't know when you want to brush your teeth. What I can do is bring you the toothbrush, toothpaste, and water. But you're going to have to be responsible for saying, Sarah, I'd like to brush my teeth.
Yeah.
But that was something that you have to kind of establish. Like,
Yeah.
you know, first it was like, I think that she was like this is the morning things. And like,
Yeah, it's
you
way
gotta
harder
do
for
those.
you. These things are not what you do as a parent. You get to decide all that.
Right. Oh, you mean you don't lift somebody onto a toilet?
Right. Someone your same size. You don't have to like
Someone you're saying,
wrestle
you know,
them.
I'm like, in good news, I do feel like I'm getting some upper body strength.
I bet you are.
That is nice. So I am feeling good about that. And, you know.
And I think it's
great.
totally fair if you decide you don't want kids, but I don't think it would be similar to
Right.
what you're dealing with right now.
Okay, that's good. I said the same thing also when I got a puppy, and people were like, nope, that's way harder too. So right now, kids sound really easy, because compared to caregiving and having a puppy, I mean, you guys keep saying that it's easier than both of those things. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anywho's.
I
I'm
get
still
it.
50%, missing 50% of the equation. Or maybe that's like 90% of the equation.
Of what equation?
Having kids,
Oh.
you know,
Sperm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Science.
Okay.
You can only do so much over
Well,
here.
I think
But-
reflecting on it is so good, though, and more than most people do. And a lot of people have kids without reflecting, and then they're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then...
And like, all I want to do, I mean, good thing you don't have to like make any life decisions like right here in the moment. Because like right now I'm like, nope, not doing any of that. Nope, just gonna, no.
It even feels like that when you just are trying to decide whether to have another, which, by the way, is an incredible privilege if you're in the position where you can decide that.
Yeah.
But it does feel very scary to make such a huge, consequential and final opinion or decision. Mm-hmm. Whether you do or don't is final.
Final. Woo! That's too much. In this economy?
It's too much, right? It's too stressful.
It's too much. It's too much stress. I know. That's it. That's why I have to just wind it down.
Wind it down. Okay, so Dr. Death
Yeah.
is no... I mean, I wonder how Dr. Kevorkian would feel about being, like...
Oh,
Upstage
like his
or
name.
whatever. Yeah.
It's kind of like
Replaced.
what is it? The patent on his name, the
Right.
trademark,
Yeah,
trademark on
it
Dr. Death ran
expired.
out, and
Now it's
he
public
got
use
replaced
again.
by Joshua Jackson, who did an excellent job, by the way. That makes me think, like, what drugs has he done? He's either really good at pretending, or he has seen people
Right.
who are like that / has done it. I don't want to point
Well,
fingers.
and the
But
Dr. Death is still alive. He's just in jail, right?
he is in jail. He's not going to be up for parole until he is, I want to say, 74.
I can't believe he would ever get parole.
I know. I think it's because they weren't able to pin a lot of things on him. It
Yeah,
was just that elderly abuse, and then maybe one, and then there
Was he married?
He was married to a stripper that
Oh,
he
Lord.
got pregnant, who then he ended up having 2 kids with. But they got married and then divorced because she was smart. She was like, I'm not sticking around
That's
for
the thing.
this
I don't know
guy.
why I just said, oh, Lord, I'm pro-stripper. I just can't, like, he seems like the kind of guy that would prey upon somebody like that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then he tried to, and he kept on wanting her to, like, start nursing school. And she's like, I'm not doing that. That's not my life. This is not what I wanted. No. Why do you keep wanting me to do that? And then he ended up having an affair with his physician's assistant, and she testified against him. And it was through the emails that he sent to her where he called himself a cold-blooded killer that helped put him away.
Oh, my God.
Suze, you got to watch it. It's so good.
That is so disturbing. I won't watch it, but I will read about it.
Yeah,
Because
read
I don't
about
like
it.
recreations or anything.
No, yeah. And there is a miniseries, or there's another one, Lifetime there's a couple of them where they have the real people, and that is just as...
Yeah, I got to see that.
Yeah, watch that. It's what is it called? It's that one that's on, like, Lifetime, I can't remember, but anyways, it's a good one.
Okay, then we discussed Hidden Valley Road and also the great science on mental illness.
And I believe I have linked the audio or put the audio of that NPR interview in our newsletter. So that is going to be available. And you guys, it's a quick listen. It's like 3.5 minutes, and it'll totally blow your mind. You're going to love it.
If you aren't signed up, you can sign up for our newsletter on our website. It's right on the homepage down halfway, and we don't send anything except once a week sending this newsletter, so you won't get any weirdness.
All the stuff that you want to look up that you're like, oh my gosh, that article they talked about, where was it? Don't worry. We got it. Here you go. We got you. We're doing all the work for you.
And then Sarah's super mad at Wheel of Fortune.
Yep, real mad at Wheel of Fortune.
Real mad.
I'm always mad at something. I'm like, is there anything I'm not mad at this week? Yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's good. I just let it all out.
They're asking for it.
Yeah. You know what I do love? I love our merch, which you can get at thebraincandypodcast.com.
I like that
because the shoes are out.
It's so great.
It's my favorite.
Segue. Sarah did it.
See,
I do love.
I learned from the best.
Yeah, the merch is awesome. I mean, good work, everyone.
Everyone.
Check it out.
All right, kids. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.